without properly reacting to TLID. And going for pocket picks is perfectly fine, especially in a tight spot. You want to just go for comfort and try to beat them at your own game, but you're just kind of playing into them at this point. Picking the Claude when there's a Novaria and Granger, you know they outscale you, and Claude doesn't even match up in the laning phase. And then they pick the Hilda early as well. You don't want to reveal your EXP lane before the opponent does in this meta. Ken just basically had no pressure the whole game.
I really wonder what stopped Flash SG from going for something like a Hayabusa, right? In game number 1, it was the ban, obviously, in the second phase, but in this game, instead of the Lucas, I thought maybe an angle of an attack would be the Hayabusa. Maybe that was the reason as to why they picked up the Hilda early, right? It's to stop the XP pressure, the Hilda pressure from an assassin. But they ended up still going for the Lucas, and then it put Bongski in a tough spot, because if not the Claude, then what? The Irithel. Irithel was banned out, and then obviously Harith was also banned out, so it leaves very small. The space for another hero to come up is just not really the best here. I don't think any other hero could have done what the Claude did, and the Claude was the best choice, I think.
Irithel coming in on the second phase of the ban was definitely quite a painful one.
Yep.
We would all be thinking, yeah, Lucas being the first phase pick is kind of surprising. The Irithel would have been great. In the previous game, the Irithel did not too bad as well. Maybe a little bit of a hiccups here and there because of positionings. But other than that, the Irithel just did what she gotta have to do.
Yeah, and I also feel like, mentally speaking, Flash started getting a little bit tilted towards the end. A little bit
Kinda
desperate.
gassed out, right?
Especially with that final diversion play into the Lord Pit. When you're already outnumbered. They were just hoping to burst down Fabian as fast as possible. But they grouped themselves up. They already took so much damage from his soul server himself and boomed at that point, right? That's why you see Fabian being the MVP once again. Suyo does so much for you in the hands of a skilled player.
I think the thing that really stands out, or rather a little bit more jarring on this end, is the aggressiveness coming from Bonxi as the goal laner. I think we're just so used to seeing how Vanek plays, looking for opportunities before he actually just goes in. But for both the heroes that the Bonxi played, both of them have got pretty decent amount of mobility. He took the stride forward, and it's always the one that went in first or, last to get out.
I guess you could say the inexperience was definitely visible as well from Bongski and for Ken, right? It definitely looked like in game number 1, game number 2, in the early game they were doing good when it was still a template game. But once it became, a game of adaptation, a game of just changing positions and changing your playstyle, Bongski and Ken did fall flat. Bongski, a lot of big moments, and then in the final moment, a blazing duet committed down that left him in a very bad position. But I would say, I think it's still good that we see these rookies perform at this level. They were able to make it close up against the M6 Grand finalists and Team Liquid ID, so good potential for Ken and Bongski.
Yeah, I actually don't blame Ken and Bongski very much. It's very tough to come in the challenge finals of SPS when you haven't had the chance to really play much with your lineup yet. I think they did respectively, but have a lot of work to do. The players I actually want to call out are the veterans. I feel like Hades was too caught up in this Lucas pick. I don't know if it worked really well for them in scrims or something, but there's a reason you don't see it very often. Curtisi tried to do what he could. But I think JPL, and he landed like what? One good wave of Dragon the entire game.
Yeah. That's definitely a tough field to swallow from this point on, right? The veterans, especially since we're kind of like healing out for them, being the roaming trio, we are really looking out for them. But we move on from that part. We talk about Fabian, the rookie, the one that came in as a Suyo with 3:2:6 when it comes down to KDM, a total of 852 GPM, with a total queue participation of 64%. This time, Fabian has got a way higher GPM and of course total amount of economy as compared to his jungle counterpart, the Hades.
It's all about controlling the neutral objective in this game, right? I would say, it was actually a game still full of action, but less action compared to game number 1, especially in the early game. And what led to TLID's dominance in the early game were the turtle fights, were the neutral objective takes, and it was just sublime from Fabian. Great pathing in the jungle to get a gold lead very early up against that Lucas. You could see even in this position when Fabian ended up getting picked off, he was 3 levels ahead of Hades. Here, 2 levels ahead of Hades still.
Actually, his position is so good as well because he got jumped on JPL. You'd think he would try to escape. Nope, jumps into the Lord, wants to get it before he dies. He failed to do so here, but instantly after this play, he adjusts, buys the Winter Crown straight away. He knows Hades is gonna jump him in the next fight, and he's already pre-equipped for it.
You can see the awareness of Fabian in the team fights as well. It's just really, really good. Always able to find the flanks in game 1, obviously finding the game-ending play as well. And here, having the discipline to say, you know what?
Definitely, at least for Team Flash, they definitely tried to look for opportunities and try to, get themselves a little bit more better traits here and there. But TLID, they just definitely know the game a lot better. And as the team that has, what can I say? What accolades do I have got to say about them? Best team? No, best team is for Bigatron Alpha.
Exactly.
But
these are the young stallions.
Young stallions.
The rookie champions.
The rookie champions. They have definitely performed well in this 2-0 fashion. And I gotta have to say, I'm definitely gonna be looking forward to game number 3, where I believe that we'll be seeing them again against Bigatron Alpha.
Yep. I think that's gonna be very interesting.
I forgot
right?
that matchup exists.
You got the Brawl
today.
Kings versus your best team in the world. What do you think of that?
No comment.
All right.
No comment.
All right.
They're both the best, but one is slightly better. Which one? I don't know.
Which one?
We'll let the comments decide that. I think what's really interesting is that up until now, TLID were actually a little bit shaky, right? We already pointed out they had to get the last slot in the last chance qualifiers rather than going straight through, as you would expect from an M-Series Grand Finalist. We actually wanted to highlight before this that take advantage of their rookie status while keeping the discipline you expect from veterans, right? I think they're
Man, they're not the controlled stallions. No. They wanna. I mean, I think it's good, right?
I think it's pretty
The
nice.
metaphor is, I think after such a crazy level of success, being rookies, it would be bad to be complacent. You have to reach out for more. You have to go and step out of your comfort zone. And I think that's what they're doing right. They made it to M6. They were champions of MPID. They're no longer rookies. No.
They're all grown
Rockies.
up. They're all Rockies.
Rockies.
yeah, it's
They rock. Right?
They rock.
They rock. They really do. Like I'm still surprised. I'm still surprised at the approach that they take in the game. Literally turning the Land of Dawn into their grazing field, right? It's not even a question.
Oh man, I really do want to listen out to what Team Liquid Indonesia has got to say though. We do have an